What is up, you guys? This is your boy Andy Matrix. I talk about anime, manga, video games, geek culture, and Japanese culture. And today, I am at Reddit. I am at Reddit because I found a very interesting topic that I wanted to talk about on this channel. And I thought that you guys might be interested on this. You know, just hear me out, well, right? But before we get started, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Make sure to hit the notification bell. Like this video. I'm on a journey to get 1,000 subscribers, and I very much appreciate your help. Now, here at Reddit, I am on the Reddit called Kotaku in Action. So this is basically Kotaku's, Reddit account, the Reddit page or Reddit group, whatever the fuck you call it. Right, and there's a discussion post here. It says, what are the chances that in the future, the Western, or specifically the American comic book industry goes extinct, which it already is, and is replaced by an American manga industry complete with big colorless magazines or tambokan? Okay, so this is very interesting. This is very interesting because, there's a reason why Japan publishes their manga on magazines, right? And there's a reason why the American comic book industry is the way it is. So let's start with the American comic book industry, right? The American comic book industry, the big two, Marvel and DC, right? Marvel and DC, you have intellectual property such as Batman, Superman, Spider-Man, Iron Man, all that stuff, right? Thor, whatever the heck. And these properties, they belong to Marvel. Okay, Superman, Batman, The Flash, Robin, the Teen Titans, that belongs to DC. And what these companies do, they hire comic book artists to work on these comic books. So the comic books, the superhero titles, the intellectual property does not belong to the artist that works on the comic book. The comic book is a paid employee that works for Marvel or DC, right? Now that being said, like, there are comic book artists that they publish their work with comic book companies like Dark Horse, and they have the rights to their intellectual property, right? And for the longest time, comic books, there's graphic novels which is like 100 pages to 100 pages, but most comic books, they're about 30 pages, 50 pages, and these little booklets, and you will buy them for $3, $2, $5, right? And that's how it always been until recently. Now the comic book industry is absolutely being destroyed by identity politics, basically left-leaning ideologies. Left-leaning ideologies are destroying the comic book industry. And we don't need to go there. We already talked about it, because of YouTube censorship and all that. I don't want to go too deep into it. Now, in Japan, the way that manga has always worked, you have a manga artist. The manga artist writes the story, creates the characters, illustrates the comic book panels, the word bubbles, everything. The comic book artist is in charge of everything. The story, the art. It's a one-man show. And from time to time, the comic book artist will hire people to help him make the comic book. Like, they'll hire an inker and maybe, I think, like a colorist or something like that. Right? They'll hire people to help them finish it. But the intellectual property, the comic book, let's say Naruto belongs to Masashi Kishimoto. Dragon Ball belongs to Akira Toriyama, and they get residual income, revenue from the anime, the toy sales, and all that stuff. Even if it's 1%, because it's their property, they get revenue off of that. So they make a lot of money, right? Now, manga is published on magazines. And the reason why this works is because of the culture in Japan. You see, in Japan, people take the train everywhere. That's one of the things that I love about Japan. When I went to Japan, yes, I actually went to Japan. People take the train everywhere. Like in train stations, you can buy magazines pretty much everywhere. There's an entire part of Tokyo dedicated to anime and manga. It's called Akihabara. You guys probably heard of it. And I actually took some videos, going there, right? So it works, right? So manga artists, they publish a chapter either weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly on a magazine, and they get paid per page, right? So all the money goes to one artist, right? And the manga is under their name, right? So that's why the whole publishing with a magazine in Japan works. And then once they got about like 7 to 10 chapters, the manga publisher will basically, put that all into one volume, right? And then they'll put it in bookshelves, right? In the stores, and people will buy more, so it creates another stream of income. That's why manga artists, in the long run, they make so much more money than a comic book artist, right? Okay, so in America, because America, unless you live in like the big cities like Chicago, New York, you're not gonna have a good train system across the country. Most of America is like, you have to drive everywhere you go. You have to drive. You gotta buy a car, and that's the culture. But in Japan, it's different. You can take the train anywhere in Japan, absolutely freaking anywhere. Okay. So, and now going back to this question, it said the American comic book industry goes extinct. It's already going extinct. It's on life support. I mean, it's literally on life support. It is basically like, I say a few more years away from dying. Because the people in the industry killed it themselves. To the point where like the CW is basically selling itself. DC is selling itself. Well, there's this other comic book company. Here in Bonding to Comics says, after heavily investing in woke and identity politics, IDW loses Transformers and G.I. Joe licenses. So IDW can no longer make comic books for Transformers or G.I. Joe. Right? So in order for American manga, but by the way, guys, we already have American manga artists. Okay, we have Mark Riley. Go to his YouTube channel. Mark Riley, he has made, American manga such as Brody's Ghost, Mickey Falls is like a romance manga. He does how to draw manga books, right? He's an artist. We also have Viz Media. Viz Media is actually going to start publishing manga from America. So American-made manga. So it's already on the rise. It's already on the rise. But there's a problem, right? There's a problem because everything in America has to be about superheroes. Everything in America has to be about just this one genre, as opposed to Japan. Manga, you can find, there's so many categories of manga. There's romance, comedy. There's even, pornography like hentai. There's fantasy, science fiction for, shonen manga for young men. There's horror. There's horror manga. There's detective manga. Look at Death Note. Death Note is a detective manga with supernatural elements added to it. Right? And then like, the harem manga, harem anime, it's like you can't beat that. In America is so close-minded to these ideas that they don't want to give it a try. They want to do something that makes money. That's why they want to stick to superheroes. But at the same time, in order to make money, you have to take risks. You need new ideas and new stories that people could potentially like. And that's why Hollywood is bankrupt. Anyways, I'm going on a rant here. But the point is, in order for American manga to succeed, in the case that American comic book industry goes extinct, which it is, then America will have to follow the formula of Japan. America will have to follow the formula of Japan in order to succeed. In Japan, they encourage people to work hard. Work hard. Okay, work hard. But, the work culture in Japan is supported, as in America, the working culture does not support, does not support, like the same way that the Japanese work. So it's like, and this is why it's not gonna work It's not gonna work unless they do it like the Japanese do it. In America, we need more categories. We need more categories. We need romance comic books. We need comedy comic books. We need all kinds of comic books. We need and we need new ideas, new storytellers, new people to tell stories. You know, kind of like what's the name? Scott Pilgrim versus the World. The reason why Scott Pilgrim versus the World is so successful is because it's so unique. It's made in Canada, by the way. It's by a Canadian, so it wasn't made in America. It's no wonder it's so successful. But to answer this post, that's what it's gonna take. Also, want to read one last comment. Something that somebody posted here. Okay, it says, Japan's infrastructure revolves around trains. With it, a convenience store or 5 near every station and stop where they can read the latest weekly Shonen Jump magazine, right? In the US, the automobile is king, and convenience stores are where you buy drinks and snacks after gassing up your car. You aren't going to buy comic books, manga, unless you deliberately plan for it. Unlike Japanese person looking to kill time while waiting for the next train. So the problem is the cultures are different. So for the American manga to succeed, we're gonna have to accept some Japanese ideologies. The question is America willing to accept it in order for their quote-unquote comic books and graphic novels to succeed? Alright guys, that is it for this video. Thank you for watching. And I want to hear what you guys have to say about this, because we already have some American manga. They're very minor. They're very like a handful of them, but they exist. What do you think? Comment below, like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and I'll see you in the next video. This is Andy Matrix. Godspeed.